Welcome to this explainer. If you are completely exhausted by the frustrating, seemingly endless cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we are unpacking the actual mechanics of how the wealthy build their fortunes. And, spoiler alert, it's definitely not by begging for more overtime. So get ready, because the insights we're covering today, they're going to completely shift how you look at your time and your money. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's kick things off by addressing a massive elephant in the room. We've all been fed this traditional narrative since we were kids, right? Just put your head down, work incredibly hard, and boom, you'll inevitably get rich. But think about it for a second. If hard work alone equaled wealth, then the absolute hardest manual laborers out there, the construction workers, the roofers pulling double shifts, they would literally be the billionaires of the world. But they aren't. We really need to shatter this myth right out of the gate, because recognizing this truth is step one to validating your frustration and, more importantly, changing your strategy. So that brings us to our first section, the hard work myth, and exactly why just working harder simply isn't working. To really grasp why that old school advice falls flat, we gotta look at the sometimes painful reality of what keeps people stuck. There are 4 incredibly common mistakes keeping the middle class totally trapped in the rat race, regardless of how many hours they grind. First up, living paycheck to paycheck. This literally leaves zero margin for growth. Second, prioritizing spending on liabilities instead of actually investing in assets. Third, and this is a big one, failing to learn basic financial skills. Look, if you don't understand how money works, you just can't make it work for you. And finally, the fear of taking calculated risks. Playing it completely safe all the time is, ironically, the most dangerous financial move you can make in today's rapidly changing economy. All right, moving right along to section 2, working smart versus hard. This is where the real paradigm shift happens. Now, this perfectly illustrates the core divide between your average earner and the ultra-wealthy. On one side, you've got trading time for money. This is where almost all of us start out, right? You work an hour, you get paid for an hour. The problem? Your time is finite. You've only got 24 hours in a day, which means your income is always going to hit a ceiling. But on the flip side, you have building systems. The wealthy, they focus entirely on results and creating assets. They honestly don't care about the hours worked. They care about building a machine that spits out value, whether they're sitting at a desk or, fast asleep on a beach somewhere. So how do they actually transition from trading time to building those systems? Well, wealthy individuals cultivate some very specific daily habits. They aggressively delegate lower-tier tasks just to free up their mental bandwidth. They leverage technology and automation to handle the repetitive, boring stuff. They also commit to continuous learning. Basically, they're always upgrading their internal software. They network deliberately because, as we all know, proximity is power. And most crucially, they ruthlessly focus only on high-value activities that actually move the needle, rather than just running around doing busy work. And by dedicating their time strictly to those high-value activities, the wealthy manage to construct this incredible financial fortress made up of multiple income streams. We're talking scalable businesses, stock market investments, real estate portfolios, digital assets like software or content, and various passive income streams. They absolutely never rely on a single point of failure, like, say, one corporate salary. Instead, they've got multiple engines driving their wealth forward all at the exact same time. Which leads us right into section 3, the power of leverage. This right here is the ultimate secret weapon. Leverage is the absolute definitive secret to detaching your physical labor from your financial growth. Basically, it means using tools, systems, or other people's resources to massively multiply the outcome of your own efforts. Think of it like this. Without leverage, you are trying to push a massive boulder up a hill with your bare hands. It's exhausting. But with leverage, you're using a perfectly positioned fulcrum and a really long lever to move that exact same boulder with just the push of a finger. It's a total game changer. And you can actually start applying leverage right now by tapping into 3 incredibly powerful pillars. First up is OPT, or other people's time. This means hiring employees, contractors, or freelancers to execute your vision. Second is OPM, other people's money. This is when you use loans, investor capital, or credit to fund and scale your investments without totally draining your own savings. And third, the great equalizer of our modern era, technology and AI. Writing a piece of code once that goes on to serve 1 million users, or using AI to entirely automate your marketing, that is monumental leverage. Let's look at some real-world proof of concept in section 4, real-world wealth masters. Let's start with Elon Musk. Now, love him or hate him, the way he utilizes leverage is undeniably brilliant. Musk is essentially the perfect example of leveraging other people's time. He doesn't personally build the rockets or hand assemble the electric cars, right? Instead, he leverages massive teams of the world's smartest engineers and pairs that with cutting-edge manufacturing tech to achieve a scale that would be literally mathematically impossible for one guy to pull off alone. Then, on the purely financial side of things, we have Warren Buffett. Buffett built his massive empire at Berkshire Hathaway almost entirely by mastering the leverage of investments and other people's money. By intelligently allocating the capital generated by his insurance company's premiums, which honestly is money that isn't even technically his, he buys assets that compound over decades. The guy is practically the grandmaster of OPM. And then, of course, there's Jeff Bezos. Bezos reached the absolute peak of wealth by relentlessly focusing on building scalable systems rather than just logging hours. Amazon is arguably the greatest autonomous, customer-centric system ever designed. Algorithms recommend the products, automated warehouses pick and pack them, and a massive logistics network delivers them. Bezos essentially designed the machine, and now that machine works tirelessly 24/7, 365. Human hours require sleep, rest, and vacations. System hours don't, and that is exactly how you generate continuous, unstoppable revenue. So, how do you actually do it? Let's dive into Section 5, your wealth building blueprint, and take this from theory to action. Here is your concrete 5-step action plan to finally transition away from just trading your time. Step 1, learn valuable high-income skills that the market is actually eager to pay for. Step 2, build a side income. Don't quit your day job just yet, but definitely start up a secondary stream. Step 3, invest regularly. You've got to make compound interest your absolute best friend. Step 4, aggressively use AI and tech to do the heavy lifting for that side business. And Step 5, focus every single spare dollar you have on creating assets that put money into your pocket rather than liabilities that drain it out. Now, make no mistake here, the wealthy actually do work incredibly hard. But, and this is the key, they direct that hard work strategically. They pour all of their sweat equity into creating leverage, building automated systems, and making really smart, forward-thinking decisions. That is the actual formula for true wealth. It's not just about effort, it's about directed effort. Which brings us to the final and honestly most important question of this entire explainer. You, just like Elon Musk and Warren Buffett, have exactly 24 hours today. The clock is ticking right now. So, are you going to continue to simply trade those hours away for a capped paycheck? Or are you going to start taking the steps to leverage them into a future of true financial freedom? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.